So this time, it's actually easier to find the average rate of change because they gave you the coordinates. The difficulty on the last problem was we had to go through and find the y values for the x inputs. This time, we still have to find them, but they're in a table, so they're kind of given to us. Just like before, this is my first x, so I'm going to call it x1. This is my second x on the list, so I'm going to call it x2. The average rate of change requires that I find slope, which means I need the corresponding y1 and the corresponding y2. Thankfully, they're in the table. So right here, there's 3. I look for it on the x list, which is right here, and I find the 3 is the first one. And the output is right here. These are y values, so this is the y value that goes with that. So my y1 is 4. And then the same thing for the 8. I take the 8 and do the same thing, go down to the bottom. The 8's right here. That's my x1, 2. And then its output is right here, the 972. That is my y2. So that is right here. And what that means for me is basically I'm finding the slope between two coordinates. The first coordinate is 3, 4. Anytime you have a table of values, there's just a comma between them, and you can make parentheses like that. So that's my first coordinate. The second coordinate is 8, 972. So 8, 972 is my second coordinate. And as I've already noted, but I'll do it again, this is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. Literally just taking the information from the table, and then you get to do the slope formula. So the slope formula would be y2, 972, minus my y1, which is 4, divided by my x2, which is 8, minus 3. And that's going to give you 968 divided by 5. Because that doesn't reduce, because 5 doesn't go into 978, that is the average rate of change. That is the slope between the first point and the last point on this table. And I was only looking for the first and last because they said to go from 3 to 8. Not every problem is asking to go from the first to last. In fact, the next problem doesn't go first to last. Sometimes it's right in the middle. Sometimes it's the first one and then the second one. You got to pay attention to what x values were provided. So in this second example, we have been asked to find the rate of change between the x values of 4 and 8. And just like the last problem, we're going to call this my first coordinate and this my second coordinate, the x initiative of those coordinates. And so the 4, you go find it on the table. It's the second line down this time, and its output is 7. So that means the y1 is 7. And then the second part is to go with the 8 on down the table. We find the 8, and its output is 43. That means this is your y2 because it connects to the x2. So essentially what this problem is asking when they say find the average rate of change is just the slope between the two coordinates that are found by these x inputs of 4 and 8. So the first coordinate is 4, 7. And the second coordinate, so we're finding the slope between it and the second coordinate is 8, 43. So if you snag your coordinates, then it's just a matter of doing the algebra 1 thing of slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's do that. M equals, y2 is, well, let me write underneath here, x1, y1, x2, y2. So slope is y2, which is 43, minus y1, which is 7, divided by 8 minus 4. And then our job is to work it out and simplify if possible. So working this out is going to give me 36 divided by 4, and that further reduces to be 9. So the average rate of change, the slope between those two coordinates on this interval from 4 to 8 is 9.